We tend to believe that life events cause us to feel and behave in certain ways, and our language strongly supports this idea. For example, we might have a thought like, "That person was so rude to me, it makes me so angry." And so we may believe that this anger response is logically caused by that other person's behavior. Similarly, we might think something along the lines of, "Giving speeches makes me anxious," and that such nervousness is directly caused by the act of public speaking. In other words, this common sense view is that external events are the causes of our internal feelings, and often even our behavioral reactions. It is true that some reactions and emotions are caused in a direct way from external stimuli. Think of the jump scare in a horror film, or the experience of pain to a physical injury. However, you might be surprised how many of the experiences that we take for granted as being caused by external forces are actually driven by our own internal cognitive processes. Indeed, emotional reactions are determined as much by the beliefs that we hold about an event as the event itself. How we evaluate or cognitively appraise a situation strongly influences our emotional and behavioral reactions. This tutorial aims to make clear the concept of cognitive appraisal, which you may recall from topic 7 on emotion, in regards to Schachter's cognitive arousal theory. In that topic, it was mentioned that the higher brain interprets a general arousal state as emotional, but the specific emotion itself is determined through a cognitive analysis of the situation. In particular, our beliefs and attitudes guide what sort of interpretation we place on our environmental situations. This is cognitive appraisal. In summary, different emotions are not really driven by different neurochemical or hormonal effects. That is, anxiety is not different to excitement because of adrenaline versus noradrenaline. No, emotions are differentiated by how we construct a scenario in our own mind. I'll give a brief example from a situation that may be familiar to all of us. Imagine a person, let's call them Norm, driving along on the way to work. It's the morning rush, so there's a lot of traffic. Maybe they're a little late. The traffic has been moving slowly at a set of lights that keep going red. But they can see up ahead there is finally going to be a break. But just as they start moving, someone pulls out of a driveway right in front of them, making them hit the brakes, causing further delay with a wait for another set of lights. Now, what is Norm's reaction here? From experience and observation, Norm's most likely reaction would be some sort of anger response, right? Perhaps Norm is thinking, "What an idiot! I was clearly driving here. Now I'm going to be late, and it's all this idiot's fault." Perhaps Norm even goes so far as to draw conclusions about the other driver's abilities and indeed their very right to use the road based on their age, gender, or apparent nation of origin. Following the common sense view, the other driver's behavior caused Norm's burst of anger. However, imagine a different person, let's call them Abby, having a different response to this scenario. Just as with Norm, Abby is driving along in busy morning traffic, a little late for work. Someone pulls out in front of them, causing them to hit the brakes and miss a set of lights. Abby also has an initial jolt of emotion, but realizes that it was part of a startle response related to the adrenaline of a sudden, unexpected event. Abby then thinks a little more about the situation and reflects on times that they have actually done something silly on the road as well, like changing lanes without realizing how close another car was, or forgetting to put the indicator on before coming up to a turn. These thoughts put some sort of perspective on the situation. Before you know it, the traffic's moving again and everyone gets on with life. In these two hypothetical examples, the external events are identical, but the emotional reactions are vastly different. The difference is being driven largely by cognitive appraisal, the thoughts surrounding the event rather than the event itself. Importantly, and as a core point of psychological practice, we can learn to become more responsible for our own thoughts, and therefore learn to have a more active role in the sort of emotional reactions that we experience. But Now it's over to you. The task for this week is to think of a scenario of your own that involves an emotional reaction. This can be anything you like. The goal will be to describe the emotional reaction and its causes in as much detail as you can. Then, write a summary of the reaction that highlights how cognitive appraisal might be involved in producing the emotional response. Next, follow up by writing a description of a different emotional response to the same environmental situation. Again, illustrate how patterns of thought might be related to the emotional experience. And once you're done, share your responses on the discussion board and we can look more closely at how appraisal is involved in the emotional response. And we can consider the related research review topic.